In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use a tic-tac-toe board to analyze results from a blood gas. First, we're going to evaluate each parameter and determine if it is acidic or basic, and then we're going to find out which set of parameters make up the tic-tac-toe. That's going to tell you the type of disorder a patient has. Next, we're going to evaluate the other parameter to determine if it is helping to compensate for the disorder or not. So I'm going to demonstrate with the very first set of parameters that I have, first set of blood gases that I have at the bottom. Number one, I have a pH of 7.34. So in purple, I have listed for you the normal values of arterial blood for the pH, PCO2, and HCO3. Remember, PCO2 is your respiratory parameter, and HCO3 is your metabolic parameter. PCO2 is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide dissolved in arterial blood, and HCO3 is the bicarbonate. It's the buffer of the metabolic system. So let's get started. We've got number one, 7.34 is our pH. So if I look at my pH scale, 7.34 is going to be acidic, just a little bit acidic. So I come over here and I write pH under the acidic column. The next parameter I'm going to look at is the PCO2. It's 54. It's going to be acidic as well, because the higher your PCO2 is, the more acidic it is. So that's going to be, okay. The next parameter I look at is the bicarbonate, HCO3. It's 32, and it's going to be basic. So come over here. It's going to be HCO3. Okay. So where's my tic-tac-toe? It's going to be right here. Okay. So I know I'm dealing primarily with an acidotic condition. Okay. So I'm in acidosis. And the main parameter that's driving the acidosis is respiratory, because it's in the same column as the pH. That's respiratory. And I'm partially compensated because the bicarbonate is not normal. If it's not normal, that means it's attempting to adjust the pH. So that is partially compensated respiratory acidosis. That's right, compensated right here. Okay, let's go to the next one. My pH is 7.53. Just go over here to this one. pH is 7.53. That's going to be basic. So write my pH here. My PCO2 is 42. That's going to be acidic. And my HCO3 is 31. That's going to be basic. So what I have, where's my tic-tac-toe? It's right there. Okay. So I'm in alkalosis, right? That's because my pH is in the basic column. And what parameter is with the pH? HCO3, the metabolic parameter. So that's metabolic, alkalosis. And then next I have to look at the opposite parameter, and that's my PCO2, and determine if it's normal or abnormal. It's abnormal, it's acidic. That means it's attempting to help compensate for the imbalance that's going on. So this is partially compensated metabolic alkalosis as well. So this one is partially compensating as well. We have partial compensation. Okay, let's go to the next one. My pH is 7.32. That's going to be acidic. So I'm going to come over here and do my pH. My PCO2 is 35. That's going to be normal. And my bicarbonate is going to, my HCO3 is 18. That's going to be acidic. So where is my tic-tac-toe? Right here. So my pH is in the acid column, so I'm in acidosis. What parameter is making the blood acidotic is your metabolic parameter, so it's metabolic acidosis. And I have to check my opposite parameter to see if it's doing anything to assist in bringing the pH back to normal. And it's not, because it's in the normal column, which means it hasn't changed a bit. So it's not doing anything to help the situation out. So this is uncompensated metabolic acidosis. Okay, let's go to number 4. My pH is 7.58. It's going to be basic. Put my pH here. My PCO2 is 29. That's going to be basic. And my HCO3 is 13. That's going to be acidic. So where's my tic-tac-toe? Right here. So I'm in the basic column. My pH is in the basic column. So I'm in alkalosis. And my respiratory system, my PCO2 is in the same column as the pH. So this is the condition that's causing the alkalosis. So it's respiratory. And I have partial compensation because when I look for the opposite parameter, it's abnormal. So the kidneys are partially compensating for this respiratory alkalosis. Partial compensation. So you can determine on a respiratory alkalosis with partial compensation by the kidneys. The kidneys usually take a couple of days to kick in their effort to compensate. So you can tell that this is not an acute problem going on because we already have compensation happening. And we'll go over many more in other videos. Thanks for watching.